Hey, everybody, I'm Rich G.
And I'm BJ Flagg, and this is episode 320 Great Presentations Grow Your Brand.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Best Small Business Show, the go to podcast for business enthusiasts looking to level up their game.
Today, we are going to dive into a topic critical to any small business owner or executive: how to give great presentations to grow your brand.
As an entrepreneur and small business owner, you probably constantly present yourself, otherwise called selling, to prospects, to customers, clients, and large audiences. The first rule I tell many of my business coaching clients is if they're uncomfortable selling and giving presentations, you need to get comfortable because you're going to be selling a lot.
A convincing presentation must have several elements to make it interesting, engaging, educational, convincing, and ultimately successful. Today, Rich and I have come up with 4 actions you should take to make your presentation more powerful and grow your brand. Kick us off, Rich.
So, action one, we want you to first know your audience. Too many people just dive right in and start making a presentation because these are my products and I have to talk about my products. It's like, no, stop. You need to know who your audience is. You need to research the prospect. Before starting, focus on your pitches. Who? What are their needs? What are their problems? Okay, can you solve those problems? How can your product or service meet or exceed their needs? Second, map out and target those visceral needs and show them how you're going to solve that problem quickly, easily, and hopefully inexpensively. And then finally, identify the decision makers. That's so important. If you're talking to a group of 5 or 10 people, figure out who the real decision makers are, who's in the room, and what their role is, so you could speak to them.
Yeah. And I believe it really makes you, if you know your audience like that, you can lunge into that presentation so much faster. You have that ability to begin to do what action number 2 is, which is build trust. I want you to make sure that you know they know you. Build the relationship through your introduction, your experience, your knowledge of the subject, and the ability to command the audience. All that research you did in Action 1 pays off big time here. It is big doings. I want you to really focus on value. To build this trust, you can't get sidetracked. As you ramp up to the meat of the presentation, don't get sidetracked. Don't get distracted by facts or figures that just aren't meaningful. Remember, they have to follow your presentation and get it fast to be able to have that trust soar. They've never seen your presentation. They might not even know about your products or services. You have to be able to be very direct at this point in your presentation. If it's a smaller group, mention successes that they've shared with you at a different time and how in the presentation you can build upon those things. Note how engaged they get when you do something like this. It's an automatic thing that you want to do. Fantastic for building that trust.
Yeah, it's big. Building trust is because they don't know you, or
Yeah.
they might know you, but they're not fully sold on your ability. So you need to show them using facts and stories and examples and testimonials and recommendations how they can trust you, how you're really good at what you do, and you're better than anybody else that they've ever seen. So building that trust is so critical. When I do workshops and keynotes, there's an introduction that talks a little bit about me, but when I get up there, I always start with a story or I start with something that gets them focused. And that leads to action number 3, which is keep your message simple and easy to understand. Tell a story. People remember stories better than facts. They really do. Use case studies, actual business experiences get their attention. Like if you could show them how something that you've done with a previous client and what was the result brings you up leaps and bounds above the competition. They want to be as successful as the people you're mentioning. Number three, use visuals. Images and graphics can communicate your message more efficiently and emotionally. You tap into that emotional aspect rather than just throwing lots of facts and figures at them. You want to grab their soul, grab their emotion. And we're not going to talk a lot about this, but your slideshow. If you're doing a presentation with a slideshow, keep it concise, open, and focused. Stay away from overly complex slides with lots of bulleted items like everybody does. Keep it simple and open.
I am always perplexed when people put up a presentation and it has an Excel sheet that's been reduced to about an inch by an inch, and you can't even read one of those things. Those things. What immediately happens to your trust? It just goes way down. It's no. So good points. Action number 4, keep it open. Allow them to interact. If you make it interactive, I'm a visual person, but Rich G pulls out the stops with his presentations. He doesn't have the same thing going on the screen that he's actually talking about, but he always will be able to reference it. So much of it is body language. It's how you're handling yourself. You're relaxed, you're comfortable, you're able to kind of talk to the screen, but not, you can have full-on conversations away from that. He has a command in a very, very comfortable way. Q&A sessions are a fantastic idea because they engage in your audience. Note that repeating some of the question itself helps the audience stay engaged. Sometimes somebody will ask a question, it'll be quiet, and you need to amplify it back up and say, oh, John just asked whether or not we're going to Q4, going to do this. Great question. That gives you enough time to react and answer to that question. You actually have time to think it through a little bit. And then, you'll be very erudite when you speak. If there's something in a question that relates to a past question, don't hesitate to mention that, because now you're keeping the past person engaged. Oh no, they might ask me again. And then the current person. So there's tons of interaction happening there. I personally love live demos. And Rich, I know you love live demos too. And it's like you could bring a snake to your presentation and bring them and let everyone pet it. That would be very memorable, but maybe not such a good idea. In all seriousness, I love to go to presentations at trade shows. They're my favorite. That's where they show you the product is integral to your company. You have some amazing people who can do great demos. You get me every single time. That and a snake, and I'm signing the contract for sure. Takeaways are just the most important thing. At the end of the presentation, bring them back to the value and how they can move forward. No selling. If I hear any of you have been selling, I'm going to kill you. This is not the time for that. Just make it all about them and thank them for their interaction. Make sure to share the presentation right away. Give it the meeting notes. Go high value. That is the most important thing. Am I right, Rich?
Yeah, all of these things are making it interactive is so key. People get bored easily nowadays. It's not like it's 1980. People want it fast and furious. And so making it interactive and fun is so important. And doing that with like Q&A sessions It is so important, letting them ask, because they're sitting there. There might be a question that they really want to ask. So add pauses. And I actually start my every workshop, every presentation is I want to make this interactive. So if you have a question, raise your hand. Don't wait till the end. I'd be happy to answer it. But I sometimes leave 15, 20, even 30 minutes at the end for Q&A, because that's probably the most important part, because if you're selling, they're going to have a lot of questions.
Absolutely. You've got to get right in there. We have some fantastic resources today. Rich put together 4 different books that will help you knock it out of the park. The first one is Talk Like TED, the 9 public speaking secrets of the world's top minds by Carmen Gallo. This book distills the magic of a TED Talk, known for their engaging and persuasive presentations. It offers actionable advice on how to make your presentations more impactful, which is crucial to brand building. It has a great part about storytelling being a powerful tool for presentations, and it really gives you the ability to learn how to use it and captivate the audience.
Our second book is called Slideology, The Art and Science of Creating Great Presentations. It's by Nancy Duarte. She's a global presentation expert, and she offers deep insights into visual storytelling. For small business owners, your slide deck can often make or break that deal, and pays as much attention to your slides as you do to your speech. So this book's all about slides. They are a visual extension of your brand.
Yeah. And the next book is Make It Stick, Why Some Ideas Survive and Others Die. Well, the Heath brothers, Chip and Dan, put this one together, and this book examines why some ideas are more memorable than others. For small business owners, creating a memorable presentation is key to building and sustaining a brand. Use the success model. They have a whole thing going there. Simple, unexpected, concrete, credible, emotional stories, and make your ideas sticky and memorable. It's actually a great book. It's nice, quick read.
And as you know, the Heath bars are very sticky. So
so they know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. Our last book, our last resource that we're recommending, we've recommended before, and it's just a great one for this. It's called Building a Story Brand, Clarify Your Message So Customers Will Listen by Donald Miller. Donald is just an incredible author. And by the way, he's got a great site. I follow him on Instagram. Although not exclusively about presentations, this book provides invaluable lessons on clear messaging. Knowing how to communicate the essence of your brand effectively can elevate any presentation you give. Craft a straightforward, relatable story for your brand that can easily be incorporated into your presentations. So thank you for tuning in to the best small business show. If this episode has been valuable to you, please subscribe and share it with other budding entrepreneurs who could benefit. And that's it for this week. You can reach out to me at richg.com and find BJ at newrenew.com.
Thanks to our editor and producer, Richard Scalzo, and have an unbelievable week. Catch you later.